Now, there was an attempt to try and push back the power of the altar of God so that it doesn't take over where the other altar has been dominating. And this is where the contention is. I would tell you that the president does not have anything personal against the deputy president. He doesn't have. But of course, the other guy has something that is both spiritual and personal against the deputy president. But the reason why he had to woo the president to his side so that that altar does not crumble, and it became a rallying point, it became an understanding point between the two, so that because life is spiritual, so that they are not cut off because their altar was going down and crumbling very fast. And so they decided now it cannot stand on, both of them being on opposing sides. They have to join forces for the sake of the reclamation of the altar. That's why they made many references of what the fathers did, and literally making reference to them so that the altar could be restored. Of course, they couldn't be outright about it because it has its implications in the public. But now listen, when many things were fronted against the deputy president, the Lord began to fight for him. You remember when the corruption tag was raised. Today, even if anybody begins to sing that the deputy president is corrupt, nobody will think about it, nobody will talk about it, because it was not in the first place true, and it couldn't stand the test of time. It died away, and that momentum is no longer anywhere, and it cannot sell anywhere. When it came to the issues of giving to church, and people sought to alienate him from the church so that he doesn't have a support base or a constituency that cuts across the nation. The church didn't give in to the proposals that the church should reject is giving. And so people went ahead trying even to come up with a law limiting or capping the giving in church to 100,000. That still didn't work and could not work because God stood and fought against it. You remember, there was now the attempt to portray him as the most dangerous politician that cannot be trusted. He is not real. But the problem was that the same people tried to tell us the man is too dangerous even to be entrusted or with the responsibility. They were the same people who told us how good he is in the past. Raila Odinga told us how good he is when they were running for in ODM. The president told us, even telling us there's an agreement for 10 years for each of them. And so beginning to smear him, it couldn't work because it would be tantamount to them beginning to go back at their words. And so, and to be seen to speak from both sides of the mouth. And so it didn't sell as well. And it was framed in the arms deal. You remember the CSHS drama. It never lasted even for, for long. And even when they tried to frame him, when one of the police officers attached to his office was murdered, it didn't work. These things are not failing to work because the ones who are planning them are not smart. No, they are very smart, and that is exactly how it has worked with any other politician that has been brought down. But why is it not working this time? I'll tell you, because the finger of God is fighting for the deputy president. It is invisible, but it is effective. It is invisible, but it is effective, fighting for him and making sure that every move comes to naught. You remember he was accused of insubordination. They couldn't find anywhere where he talked about insubordination. The other day, the Asla narrative was being branded as criminal, but it is not yet possible to frame anything around that because the population will look at anybody who is pushing for that as selfish and not and unwilling to help the masses. And so it's a very tricky situation. It's a catch-22 situation, literally, for those guys that are fighting him. And we see one very significant thing that happened, and maybe many people didn't take note of, is that the DCI and other machineries had moved to begin the reintroduction of the ICC cases, which were targeting the deputy president. And that's why you saw the people from Kiambaa and other people that were varied to the city, even without proper coordination. That's why they came out and spoke against what had happened, and they said they had not been told that is what they were going to say or do. And now that was a preparation for a full-blown attack against the deputy president. But you know what the Lord did? The Lord, in his wisdom, he went ahead and had Karim Khan elected as the chief prosecutor at the ICC. You see, actually, the reporter said it was not meant to happen that way. They said it was supposed to be a consensus, bringing out somebody else who would have been user-friendly to many of the systems that are against revival and against God. But listen, the lawyer, Karim Khan, was elected and is going to be beginning his term in June 2022. You may be asking, why is it God fighting for the deputy president? If you recall well, the lawyer Karim Khan was the lead lawyer, defense lawyer in the case against the deputy president at the ICC. And so it is not easy for those that had brought the Soyebo Bensouda, Fatou Bensouda, into their corner. It's not easy to sway Karim Khan, who was the lawyer, the lead counsel in the case against the deputy president, William Ruto. And so it's a big win. It's actually something that God did to make sure that he silences any fears that could have been brought from that side to fight and to make the deputy president not to be comfortable running for the presidency.